Kerrville looks to rebuild. More rain is on the way. Another roadblock to recovery efforts. Just ahead, find out about the new setback in a months-long process. Plus, your tomatoes are in trouble. A new tariff on goods from Mexico is set to spice up the price on your favorite salsa. Details are coming up. KRIS 6 News at 5 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Clara Benitez Cortez. We'll get to those stories in a moment. But first, a group of residents and business owners are taking legal action against the state over a discharge permit for the city's proposed Inner Harbor desalination plant. The Hillcrest neighborhood, also a plaintiff in the case, is bracing for another fight. Tomorrow, the city council is set to vote on a plan to rezone parts of the area to industrialize use and close 11 streets. Residents say the move will only compound their struggles.
We have been, to a great extent, ignored. And we do not want that to continue to happen. That is what the fight is about. Okay. We want to preserve our history, and we want to preserve our heritage.
Tuesday's vote comes after years of industrial expansion, broken promises, and buyouts that have left many residents feeling displaced and powerless. And while recovery efforts are ongoing in Kerrville and the surrounding area, more rainfall has thrown a wrench in the operation. Rain and rising water levels prompted more road closures yesterday. The Kerrville Police Department said low-lying areas along Quinlan Creek and Town Creek have water over the roadways. Additionally, the Guadalupe River is elevated. Volunteer operations are currently suspended until further notice, and Highway 39 is closed to everyone except first responders and residents. This comes as Kirk County continues to what could be a months-long search for missing people.
I've been assured by the governor and the president, we will have the resources to get the job done. How long is it going to take? Who knows? I think we'll still go strong for another month or two, up to maybe 6 months, winding down as we move on.
Kirk County commissioners met today for the first time since the floods to discuss search and recovery efforts. And searching for the missing doesn't just apply to people. One local business is raising money to help find pets that were lost in the Central Texas floods. September Moon Bakery in Annabelle Shop is donating half of its cookie box sales to the cause. The owner, Alicia Taylor, is a pet owner and says the furry friend community needs help too.
Pets are family. They're just as important to me as my kids are. I'm sure other pet owners feel the same way. And I can't imagine being separated from my kids in that instance.
Taylor says 50% of her cookie box sales will go towards Kerrville Pets Alive. It's a nonprofit who is helping victims with pet supplies and finding pets that were lost in the floods. And the recovery in Kerrville is expected to rely on funding from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, otherwise known as FEMA. The Trump administration originally said it wanted to eliminate FEMA. Now they could remake the agency. Scripps News Group's Ava Joy Burnett has the latest.
The Trump administration appears to be changing its stance on FEMA, an agency it has previously threatened to shut down.
And we're going to eliminate FEMA.
I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away.
But following flash floods in Texas that killed more than 120 people, the president praised the agency's work.
FEMA has been really headed by some very good people. We have some good people running FEMA. It's about time.
And Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, whose department oversees FEMA, has backed away from a push to eliminate the agency.
We can end up putting this agency in the best place and position possible to be reformed and remade.
FEMA, which was established in 1979, coordinates the government's response to natural disasters and emergencies and works with state and local agencies on relief and recovery efforts. The president has suggested states should take the lead on disaster response and assemble a council to assess that and other potential changes.
Historically, over time, states have found it very, very difficult in the aftermath of major disasters to handle those big ticket items of rebuilding roads and bridges, getting people back into housing.
History professor Andrew Morris has studied natural disaster response and says FEMA could see reforms, but major changes could result in pushback.
It's certainly possible to envision a FEMA that does push certain programs back down to the states. I find it unlikely, though, that there's going to be a lot of appetite in Congress or at the state level for a wholesale return of these functions to the states.
Ava Joy Burnett, Scripps News Group, Washington.
And we want to remind you that if you want to help those affected by the floods, the Scripps News Group has organized a fund. If you would like to donate, scan the QR code on your screen or text flooding to 50155. And as Kerrville recovery efforts are ongoing, we continue to monitor our forecast here at home. We welcome in meteorologist Stephanie Lauber now. Steph, how's it looking up in the central area there?
It's been tough because they'll go through periods where we don't have problematic rainfall, and then you have a situation like today where there were different flood alerts happening throughout other portions of the hill country. So let's take a look back at the radar over the past couple of hours. You'll notice there's a big batch of that green hanging out on the hill country, anywhere from Del Rio out toward Fredericksburg. These were some intense rainfall rates. Big batches of heavy rainfall. And so out by Concan, north of Uvalde, that's where they had some other flood alerts issued for today, and clearly some of that went right across Kirk County right there, where they really don't need any more rain for the time being, right? For us locally, seems like we didn't get much. Our radar is actually down for the count until tomorrow. National Weather Service on top of it, waiting for a part to come back. But other radars in Houston, down the valley, and Austin picking up on what is likely a few showers, one of which moving into Duval County right now. So Concepcion, you might be seeing some rain out that way. But do we have any more in the 7-day forecast? I'll give you a look at the week ahead coming up.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. And tariffs have been a theme of the second Trump administration. And over the weekend, the president announced that more taxes are coming on imported goods. Saturday, Trump declared the U.S. will impose 30% tariffs on imports from two of its largest trading partners, Mexico and the European Union. The European Union Trade Commissioner was asked about this change this morning, saying the tariffs put transatlantic trade in jeopardy.
So it's practically it prohibits the trade. So if you're talking about 30% or 30% plus, there will be a huge impact on trade. It will be almost impossible to continue the trading as we are used in a transatlantic relationship.
And President Trump mentioned in his announcement that the tariffs will take effect August 1st. So how do the new tariffs affect you? Well, for starters, some of your favorite foods like tomatoes are about to be more expensive. Fresh avocados and tomatoes from Mexico will be taxed up to 30%. Imports involving the European Union, like olive oil from Italy, will also see price increases. Other items like pharmaceuticals, cars, and medical equipment will be affected as well. The value of EU and U.S. trade in goods and services was about $2 trillion in 2024, according to the Eurostat. Another necessity that's going up in price, stamps. It now costs 78 cents, up from 73 cents for a first-class forever stamp. Other mail-related prices were also bumped up. Sending a postcard will now cost you 61 cents, up from 56 cents. And mailing postcards and letters internationally also saw a 5-cent increase to $1.70. The price increase is the 10th in the last 9 years, with the cost of a stamp going up by nearly 66% over that time, according to USPS data.
Improving on natural beauty. I'm Erin Holly on Padre Island, showing you how a group of volunteers is keeping Padre Island beautiful, one project at a time.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
If you've driven around the island lately, you may have seen some projects like this new flagpole behind me popping up in communal areas. I'm Erin Holly, your Padre Island neighborhood news reporter, and I'll introduce you to the group of women dedicating their time to make Padre Island more beautiful.
We've got to redo, obviously, all this landscaping too.
Fixing up the landscaping around the island is just one of many projects the Island Pride Volunteer Group is working on.
We came up with our name because first we're on the island, and then just to take pride in our island, make it pretty, clean it up, keep it as pristine and vibrant as we can.
That's been the mission of Island neighbors Margarita Willett, Debbie Wall, Cassie Romfield, Marilyn Litt, and Gloria Cornett since they started Island Pride last August.
It takes all of us to keep the community, tidy and clean and I think we forget sometimes, because we live on a beach and we kind of let those things go.
Some of the beautification projects that Island Pride has worked on include placing American flags around the island, contacting city officials and TxDOT about road issues, and cleaning up communal areas. And they don't do it alone.
We're going to replace these benches that are clearly falling apart.
That's exactly what Island Pride's about, involving not only our community, but the organizations within our community that also do so much wonderful things throughout the year.
They work closely with the American Legion Islander Post, the Padre Island Rotary Club, and Whitecap NPI to brighten up the island for different holidays.
Because when you have a vibrant and thriving community, businesses will want to be here and stay here. Residents will want to come and stay here. Visitors will want to come and visit.
These volunteers say they wouldn't be able to do it without the support of their fellow island neighbors.
Our mantra is it takes an island, because it truly takes an island.
It takes an island. I mean, this is a group of just 5 ladies, and we're already making a difference.
The volunteers from the Island Pride Group tell me their next big project is getting an island mural painted on this blank wall behind me. On Padre Island, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Erin Holly, Chris 6 News.
Erin, thank you. A friendly competition between Corpus Christi Police and Fire Department is helping with a blood shortage in the Coastal Bend. The Boots and Badges blood drive is simple. When anyone donates blood, they choose between boots to support the fire department or badges for the police. The friendly competition encourages more donors at this critical time of the year.
It's a great way to promote the importance of donating blood during the summer months. There's always a need for it.
You don't have to wear a badge to be a hero in the community. You can come out, donate blood, and give back.
July 26th is the last day to donate for your team. All donors will receive a free limited edition Boots and Badges t-shirt and Hooks tickets. Winners will be announced August 5th at the Whataburger Field. Now let's swing things over to Stephanie for a live look at our roadways. How's traffic looking out there?
All right, we'll get the view. Here it is off SPID. We see a lot of folks up and at them. Looks like things are moving a little slowly on that ramp from the crosstown to SPID, but we're moving and that's what counts, right? We'll give you the view across Corpus Christi, Nueces, and San Patricio counties, as well as out along the island. Not seeing any particular trouble spots outside of the ordinary, so let's get to those now. If you're moving around downtown, Shoreline's a little slow. Crosstown's not looking too bad, but there is a bit of a slowdown on 37 approaching that interchange as folks still adjust to the Harbor Bridge changes. Around town, the crosstown, as I mentioned, a little slow near SPID. And for those of you who are going to be traveling along Staples, the usual slowdowns to be expected. As you head out, make sure you stay safe and drive safe. I'll have your forecast next. All right, the view outside our studios here in downtown Corpus Christi. You can see a few clouds out there and you can see the colors of those beautiful Texas flags because we've still got a breeze out there. It's windy over the weekend. We're coming back to another breezy start to the week. A shadow of a cloud about to go over right now. Looks pretty cool. All right, but we've got a forecast to get to. So let me talk to you about some of the rain we may or may not have seen today. Our radar is down for the count, but it's going to be back up tomorrow. That's the estimate from the National Weather Service. So as far as rainfall goes, not seeing any of that here in Kingsville. And as we take another look farther north in Live Oak County, none reported at any of our Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network stations. So if you do find a quick little shower, we had some on the radar that we're getting help from the Valley, out in Austin, Laredo, Houston, but those kind of go a little higher up in the clouds, so it may not mean that we're seeing rain on the ground in Duval County, but that may be where we see some. Can't rule out rain because we're very humid outside. I'm sure you've noticed that, and you don't need me to tell you that, but it's really making that heat feel more oppressive. Look at the temperatures outside right now. In white, we have the actual air temperature. In yellow, the temperature that your body perceives once we factor in that humidity. So I always say that we can level the playing field when it comes to humidity alone, because along the coast we are in the upper 80s, but we're feeling like the lower 100s, a similar feeling to what's happening inland where we have less of that humidity, but hotter temperatures. So as we sit in those upper 90s, 97 degrees in Freer right now, feeling like 98, 99 in George West, feeling like 103. Yeah, we're kind of all in the pool when it comes to the hot weather here across the coastal bend. So no surprise, humidity is going to be a mainstay in our forecast as we head through the next couple of days. The breeze will come down as we head on into the overnight. By the time we wake up and get ready to head up and out the door on your Tuesday morning, those winds will be around 5 to 10 miles per hour, but they're still from that humid and warm southeast wind direction. So as we wake up tomorrow, 90% relative humidity is going to be there to greet you with a nice big hug, air you can wear, right? Over the next few hours, we'll see more of those clouds taking over into the overnight, but a good mix of stars and clouds out there. Temperatures, as a result, those clouds kind of blinking us in. They're going to be a little warmer as we head on to the overnight. We're not going to break 80 before we pass midnight. It'll be during the early morning hours that our temperatures finally wiggle down to those upper 70s, and it'll be brief, but that's about as cool as we'll get. Let's talk about what's to be expected for this week, because once again, Saharan dust, part of that mix. We're looking at a very thin batch over the coast of Texas right now. Not very effective, but looks like we'll have another batch headed our way, moving closer toward the middle of the week. And that looks to linger a bit longer before moving off, and then possibly another quick little round. So intermittent batches of Saharan dust, depending on how dense that is, could help us out with our rain chances over the next couple of days, but also maybe in the tropics. There's one area of interest that the National Hurricane Center is keeping an eye on, batch of disorganized thunderstorms off the east coast of Florida, but the general weather pattern is likely going to swing this batch of thunderstorms across the peninsula and into the northern Gulf, so we're going to keep an eye on it. No worries for us right now, aside from maybe some choppier surf out there. So keep that in mind if you have any beach plans from here on into the weekend. Here's a look at the next 7 days for our neighbors in Rockport and Kingsville.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in San Diego. These creatures are coming back to life in this small town thanks to the school district. The kids here tell me it's cool to see something they only see in movies and in books.
I was so excited. Me and my mom love it.
Catalina Galvan is a third grader with a fascination for wildlife. Her favorite part of this exhibit?
The fossils behind, because they're big and you could study them.
And it's not just the kids. The grown-ups learned a lot from the Dinosaur George Traveling Museum.
I can't recall having something like this come out to SD.
Catherine Cortez is the ACE program site coordinator and graduate from San Diego. She says she's happy to see something like this in her hometown.
Kids need to be exposed to different things, especially coming from our small community. There's not a lot out here.
Cortez and her supervisor made contact with George Blassing, the owner of the Traveling Museum. He's loved these prehistoric creatures since he was 4 and wanted to share his passion. That's why for decades he's taken this traveling museum all over the state.
I get to expose them to something that otherwise they may not get to see.
He tells me he loves seeing the kids' faces when the dinosaurs come to life.
There's a lot of these rural communities where the kids don't get the opportunity. You know, sometimes driving 5-6 hours one way is just not a realistic thing to do.
11-year-old Emma Maldonado was visiting the Traveling Museum with her mom and sister. She says this is important for kids like her because
so they could see like what existed like millions of years ago.
Dinosaur George tells me in the late 1990s, a dinosaur fossil was discovered not far from here, and he's glad to bring dinosaurs to life for the rural community. In San Diego, I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter, Press 6 News.
All right, Melissa, thank you. Taking a live look outside at our Skycams. It's a brand new week, and we're hoping you're starting it off very strong. Stick around. We've got news on a brand new restaurant when we come back. Welcome back to Chris 6 News at 5. A new restaurant on the city's south side has neighbors saying aloha. Hawaiian Bros opened its first franchise in Corpus Christi earlier today. The island-inspired restaurant kicked things off with a celebration at its location on SPID across from the old Sunrise Mall. That's on the other side. Now, some of the first customers of the new store walked away with gift cards worth up to $500. And one lucky visitor won free Hawaiian Bros for a year.
So today it's been crazy. Earlier, they were starting to line up at 8 o'clock in the morning. We had people lined up around the back of the restaurant waiting to try our Hawaiian-inspired food.
Now, if you missed out on today, don't worry, it's not too late to get some free swag of your own. General Manager Chuck Smith says if you signed up for their rewards program, you'll have a chance to win prizes, including a free trip to Hawaii.
That food and free vacation. I mean, that can
It
do
sounds
it for me.
good.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yep. Well, I don't know how good the waves are in Hawaii this time of year, but we may have some waves of our own in the Gulf soon, depending on how that trouble wants to pan out over the next couple of days. So it's something I'm watching. Other than that, looks like we're just going to be hot this week. So please, if anything, make sure you're staying hydrated because our actual air temperatures are going to be in those upper 90s. That means we're going to be feeling at least 5 degrees hotter, and with that, maybe a little Saharan dust. Yep, we got to take care of ourselves.
I think the Saharan dust gave my babies the sniffles.
Oh, no.
I know. But we will see you here tonight at 6 o'clock. Have a good one.